Good evening. Welcome to the Joliet Junior College regular meeting of the Board of Trustees, dated June 25th, 2025. I'd like to call this meeting to order. And as we begin, I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting will be conducted in accordance with Board Policy 01.45.00, meetings of the board and Robert's Rules of Order. Our attorney, Brian Copeman, will serve as parliamentarian to ensure the meeting proceeds professionally. You'll notice a member of staff is present to assist with time management. Per policy, each trustee will have 3 minutes to speak and 2 minutes for rebuttal, with continuous timing observed and one speaker holding the floor at a time. In alignment with Board Policy 01.03.00, I encourage everyone to maintain civility and respect even when expressing different opinions. This commitment to civility is essential to fostering productive and respectful discussions. Item 1.1.1, roll call. Karen, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Bottomley?
Here.
Trustee Broderick?
Present.
Trustee Garcia again.
Here.
Trustee Harris?
Present.
Trustee Lee? Trustee Morales? Trustee Bishop?
Here.
Trustee Bazinski?
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 1.1.3, the Pledge of Allegiance. And at this time, I'm going to ask our Vice Chairwoman, Nancy Garcia, again to lead the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Item 1.2, Communications. Kelly Roder Tonelli.
Chairman, I'll take this one. It's my pleasure to introduce a friend in the community. The college has been, as many of you know, the college has been a partner of the Joliet Area Historical Museum since its inception in 2002. And JJC has had a close connection to the museum. We have a board seat on their board, and I just want to publicly thank Don Gavoni for his many years of service to the museum board, and will transition to Amy Walker, who is the department chair for our library, who will take that seat at their next board meeting. So it's my absolute pleasure to introduce and welcome Greg Peerbolt to the podium. Greg, would you come on down? I'll try to embarrass you a little bit more. Greg is a museum CEO, as many of you know. In April, the Joliet Area Historical Museum was named the 2025 Illinois Museum of the Year by the Illinois Association of Museums. Greg, welcome to JJC. The floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Nmuo, Trustee Bazinski, trustees. Good evening. Thank you for having me. So as Dr. Nmuo mentioned, this started from my outreach to Kelly Roder, telling her we were honored to receive this designation of Museum of the Year, and do we have a way to kind of promote that within college channels? And she suggested, why not go right to the source and come to the Board of Trustees and really get put on the spot? So happy to do that, and actually realizing it's my first time, I think, formally being here before the board, so it was overdue anyway. So I'm here to talk just a little bit about our partnership. I have some literature that kind of provides some broad strokes about us. Many of you are, certainly familiar to me in the organization, so don't want to talk too much about that, but just want to say thank you. The award we received for the Illinois Association of Museums, we've said publicly, is all about teamwork, and of all the awards we could receive, I'm the most happy about that one because it underscores a team effort. When you get Institution of the Year, it's not about one person or one constituency. It's about the team and the whole, and the community that surrounds it. So JJC is certainly part of that. So I think it's a great time to come here and say thank you for all you do for us, and express hopes that we can go maybe even further, do more cool stuff, expand our partnership. I do want to echo Dr. Nmuo's thanks to Don Gavoni, who was an awesome part of the museum board, and I love talking with Don, and Don has just one of these incredible people who you go to him, you introduce yourself, he will find some way that he is connected to you. And we love that about him. We joke that he was our Kevin Bacon, that he had somehow he could get to you. And Don's still a great friend of the organization. So in addition to thanking him, Susan Prokopik was our chair before Don. And I think that, it struck me having 2 representatives in the course of 12 years. That shows that we are getting quality people from Joliet Junior College. In addition to people like Dennis Doyle, John Lyons, who regularly bring history classes. Dennis did a really cool symposium for the Civil War years ago that we still talk about. Amy Cellino, there's a little press release in that booklet where we talk about a joint project we did to digitize oral histories that we were really proud of several years back. And, as we look at milestones, Route 66 is turning 100 years old. At our last meeting, we realized Joliet Junior College is turning 125 years old. So you're older than Route 66. I don't know how that makes you feel, but probably a good thing in this case. So it's a time to double down, I think, on the partnership. And there's so much great energy with Joliet Junior College. There's a downtown presence we love. We're literally and figuratively connected to you downtown in a cool little pedway situation. So I think of the quote, the Daniel Burnham quote that everyone says, and I know everyone says it, make no little plans, but maybe you didn't know that it first really appeared as a quote in the city plan of Joliet in 1922. This is one of the first place that quote was put out as a little nugget of wisdom from Daniel Burnham. So it's appropriate to use it here. So again, thank you. I hope we can just dream big and do big, and we're excited for Amy Walker and excited to continue the partnership. So with that, happy to take any questions or comments you have.
Any questions?
I do. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good presentation. I'm on the New Lenox Area Historical Society. And I know that Lori Lindbergh, the one who's in charge of it all, has been looking for stuff from JJC. So she wants to have, I don't know if she's connected with you or not, but I know that she wants to get information that you have so that we can have it in our site.
Sure.
So is there any way that she can connect with you then?
Absolutely, yeah. Via email or visit. I know our curator, Stephen. We've done some stuff with New Lenox. Our Lincoln Highway exhibit, I think, is in the, and we were happy to do that. So, yeah, please.
Yeah, that would be
pass
great,
my
because she's
info.
on all about the schools now. And
Perfect.
she wants to build in the JJC part of it because we're the first
Awesome.
community college.
Yep, when we're proud to be kind of the repository. We have a nice facility downtown, and the beginning of my career was in small historical societies, so that's really where my heart is. So yeah, we're always happy to help.
And who
our
should she
partner
connect
organization.
with?
Myself or Stephen Wright, who's our
Got
curator.
it. I appreciate it. Thanks, Stephen.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Item 1.3, public comments. Karen, do we have any public comments?
Chairman Bazinski, tonight we have Kimberly Martinez, who is speaking on proclamations and flag raisings. As a reminder, Joliet Junior College welcomes public comments during its monthly board meetings per policy 015501. The purpose of this opportunity is to direct comments to the board, keeping in mind that comments should be in good taste, and please demonstrate consideration for others. Please refrain from inappropriate, irrelevant, or disruptive comments. Each speaker is allowed up to 3 minutes to speak. Thank you for following this procedure.
Hello. Hi, members of the board, staff, faculty, and esteemed guests. My name is Kimberly Martinez, and I am a proud alum of Joliet Junior College, having graduated just this past May. During my time at JJC, I was an active and engaged student, and one of the roles I am most proud of was having the privilege of serving as president of Latinos Unidos. At the last board meeting, several proclamations were read, and some board members expressed concern about raising flags in recognition of these proclamations due to uncertainties within the current federal administration. These concerns are understandable. Students, too, are navigating how changes at the federal level may impact them and their families. That said, I feel it's important to share the student perspective of how meaningful and impactful these flag-raising events can be. Around this time last year, executive members of Latinos Unidos and IDALE, including myself, presented the Latinx Heritage Month proclamation, which included a request for a flag to be raised. The board approved the proclamation, and planning began for a celebratory event. In collaboration with Latinos Unidos, IDALE, the DEI office, and CIMAS, the event took place and ultimately welcomed almost 200 students. Many attendees shared with me how proud they felt to be part of such a moment. The event significantly strengthened our clubs and departments' presence on campus. And personally for me, it affirmed Latinos Unidos' mission, that there is a need for these spaces. For many students, including myself, it was one of the first times they saw their culture celebrated within a higher education environment. It was more than symbolic, it was affirming. My message to the board tonight is this: be courageous, don't be afraid. There are many things we cannot control as an institution or as individuals, but we can control how welcome, seen, and safe our students feel when they come to campus. Raising a flag may seem like such a small gesture, but for many of us, it represents visibility, respect, and belonging. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Do we have any additional comments?
We do not.
Thank you. Item 1.4, a moment of silence. Dr. Newell.
Chairman Budzinski and members of the board, I'm asking the JJC community to join me in a moment of silence for the following individuals: Griffin Dahmer, JJC student, and Elizabeth Spate, JJC retiree, who served from 1984 to 2007.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you, Chairman.
Newell. Item 1.5, selected reports. 1.5.1, the 12 by 12 by 12 report from Dr. Newell.
Chairman, appreciate that. Thanks so much. So as this presentation's coming up, I'm gonna, and this is really an effort to honor some of the requests from the trustees over the past year, really over the last 2 years of this initiative. And as I was preparing this, it really took me to this place of reflection. I've been here, as many of you know, for 3 years, and I know some of you have gotten sick of me talking about this initiative, but my hope is by the end of this presentation, you too will feel not only a sense of ownership, but a sense of pride as to the impact that we all have had, that this specific initiative has made in the communities we serve. So initially I had it labeled as 3 years later. Technically, it's really 2 years later. As you all remember, this is something I introduced within the first 3 months of being here. Well, it then took a considerable effort to create the systems and structures, policies and procedures, and make our way out into the communities. Really spend that first year communicating the potential of challenging all the 40,000 high school students in our region to earn 12 college credits by the end of 12th grade and pay just $12 a credit. So as I click here, it's not clicking, so I'm just... Thanks so much. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'll trade you this.
It's one of those days.
All right. Oh, that'd be great. Thank you. So this presentation is really broken down into 3 areas. So we're going to talk about head count, credit hours, and then ultimately matriculation. So to revisit the initial objectives of 12 by 12 by 12, it was to improve the relationships that we have with our districts, all 26 of them, to enhance a dual credit structure at JJC, and then ultimately to increase our matriculation rates. Oh, next slide, please. Thank you. Oh, you got it? Thank you. Appreciate it. So I want to take you back a little bit to 22. So these numbers are from 21, academic year 21 to 22. Technically, it's fiscal year 21 to 22. Back then, 12% of the nearly 40,000 students in our region participated in dual credit, a total of 4,690 enrollees. So fast forward now to current day. We've elevated and added over 1,000 new students annually. So while these numbers, 1,091 new students, are impressive, note that that's our new benchmark. That's the level that we're operating. something I'm pretty proud of. Now, this next slide is going to be a little hard to see, but I'm going to break it down and highlight just a few things. As you all have been champions of this initiative and really this movement, we serve approximately 40,000 high school students in our vast region. Each grade level is then broken down approximately 10,000 students per grade level. So I won't ask you to squint and strain your eyes here, but I want to highlight a few things, and actually some of them will be on the next page. We've seen steady growth since 12 by 12 was introduced, from 4,690 students, 5,573 students. That was the very first time 12 by 12 by 12 became a thing. That was fall of 23. Since then, we've grown to 5,781 students, with 15% of area students now participating in dual credit across our region. Now, you might think 1%, 2% here or there. That's 1% of 40,000, right? So just think about those numbers. Now, that's one thing. I promised 3 sections. That's just headcount. That's just individual human beings participating in dual credit. Well, how many courses are they taking? How engaged are they? How active are they in the dual credit space? As many of you know, and we've celebrated here at this table here, 45% increase over the last 4 semesters in credit hours produced. Now, what does that actually mean, though? Historically, incoming JJC students have matriculated with approximately 6 credit hours of dual credit from Plainfield South, from Lincoln Way East, from JCA, from Peatone, any one of our high schools. After 12 by 12 by 12, the incoming freshman class is now at nearly 8 credits per student. So they are more prepared, they're more likely to be successful once they get here. Ultimately, and this is going to require a little bit of explanation here, ultimately we hope that more students will choose to come to JJC. Majority of students in our region actually choose to go to a university over JJC. But we're going to see some trend data that is largely supportive of our value proposition, the case we've made to our community. So let's take a look at our yield rates over time. The percentage of students who graduate, the 10,000 students that graduate, how many of them typically, historically, have come to JJC? We're going to leave 2021 out of this because that number is a little bit low. It's a little bit of an outlier. You'll see it on the next slide. It's 14%. But historically, our yield rate, our capture rate is about 16 or 17%. So this was 2020, and this was 2022. So have those numbers in mind a little bit. And one of the things you're most likely noticing is in 2020, number of seniors was more than 10,000. As many of you have heard, there is an enrollment cliff. There's a demographic shift that's happening. There are fewer seniors graduating. Yet, JJC has seen an increase in the number of high school seniors who choose to come to JJC. Something I'm very proud of. A direct byproduct of the 12 by 12 by 12 initiative is, I suppose we should probably have a drum roll, Chairman. Ultimately, our yield rates is really what we're after. So in the year 23, the very first year, our yield rate went up to 20%. Again, each percentage rate represents a pretty good number, right? 1% of 10,000, 100 students. That's 2023. Something to celebrate. More students coming to JJC as a result of this. Fewer seniors graduating. You'll see the 9,454 number. And that trend continued in 24 and 25. So this is the current year. Nearly 1,800 students now choose JJC. About 9,538 seniors as well. I know this is impossible to read, but trustees, I believe you've got printouts of this in front of you, and I can certainly make this available to the college community. I want you to remember, and I don't recall exactly, trustees, which one of you were there with me. Chairman, I believe you were. Trustee Broderick, I think you were there as well for this presentation. It was in Bloomington, I believe. It could have been in Springfield. Nonetheless,
Springfield.
It was Springfield, yeah. ICCTA was very interested in 12 by 12 by 12. Our state rep had allocated some resources. Brian Durham was in favor of this, largely supportive, and they invested in this initiative. So 2 years ago, I sold this idea of 12 by 12 by 12. So while the numbers look similar, I want you to pay close attention to some of the details. I've already talked about the 16%. These are capture rates, right? These are yield rates. I've already talked about the 17%. I've asked you to ignore the post-pandemic time of 2021. And there we are at 20% and 19%. And I anticipate that number will continue to grow, in part due to the investments that this college is making in the dual credit apparatus. As many of you might recall, in the FY26 budget, we have additional resources to support the Office of Dual Credit. More people, more resources. Dr. Gray was very creative in the way she allocated resources to support the implementation of the software system called Dual Enroll. A lot of those things we bootstrapped are now in the FY26 budget and will be formalized. So I want you to pay close attention, and I'm going to be very careful here not to be critical of higher education as a whole, okay? It may come across that way. Let me just say this. JJC's value proposition remains very strong. Our students pick and choose us. We do not pick and choose our students. So as you're looking at these numbers, and if I were teaching a class right now, which I feel like I am, but nonetheless, you'll notice something about these charts, right? The orange section is shrinking. The purple section is growing. The gray section is really actually the population that this initiative was designed for. Individuals who are not choosing to go to a college or a university, not choosing to go to higher education. As we push forward with this initiative, you all will see a renewed set of energy, strategies dedicated to that specific population. And so why are they coming here? It's because we're amazing. It's because of our value proposition. But I can tell you, Christy Mulvey, the Executive Foundation Board, set aside resources in support of this, Chairman, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, the foundation believed in this initiative enough to set aside $500,000 to support students who complete 12 credits at their local high school and choose to matriculate. And guess what? This academic year, nearly 200 additional students took advantage of that scholarship and chose to come to JJC. So I've said it a lot of times, and I feel like, Christy, I probably need to do this presentation to the foundation board to honor their support of this initiative, but want to again extend my gratitude to Christy, her team, and the foundation board. Lastly, 2 slides of support. I want to thank all the superintendents who've believed in this. And I want to thank all the incredible leaders here at the college, from Dr. Gray, Andy Serrata, our new dual credit manager, Aaron Farmer, the executive leader over that area, all of our faculty and staff who've embraced the vision of 12 by 12 by 12, who have supported, facilitated its growth. All of that has made us a statewide leader, a national leader in the dual credit space, and it remains something I'm very, very proud of. So, with that, Chairman, that concludes my report. Thank you. Thank you. Trustee Broderick might have a question.
Questions? Out of curiosity, I know I had mentioned before with the ACCT conference, we had, California showing us how they did the development of this program, which I think we've done great. But I'm wondering, will we be adding more classes? Because as I sub in the 3 high school districts, I keep hearing that the kids need more classes. And that's what they're looking for in order to sign up, because some of them just don't want some of the classes. They want to have more accelerated classes. And then also, some of the chairs were asking at the high schools too about pathways, so that we could show them the pathways
yep.
and what monies they would be making once they achieve those pathways. And I think when I look at how we've increased, I think that I've heard too, there's more certifications. That's what they like, the certifications, because they're able to get it short term and do that, to walk out of a job, just like their auto certification.
Yep.
They can walk onto a job, I think 90,000 is what they had said in the auto shop. And then I think inflation too has hit the parents, because I think everybody is looking what the cost of the dollar is right now.
Right.
And I think that has definitely had a play on us.
Yeah, and I'm going to work backwards and just largely agree with your final comment that, the $12 price point is very attractive, and has really actually resulted in some additional resources coming to the college. That cost modification, if you will, has actually increased revenues coming to the college. Just as a reminder to the college community, this board also supported free tuition for students who are on free and reduced lunch as well. So we fully recognize that our students are price sensitive, price conscious, their families are, and I feel like we've really hit a sweet spot there. So appreciate you acknowledging that, Trustee Broderick. And I'm going to go back to your first question, more classes. Absolutely. I mean, Dr. Gray is working on that. We appreciate the support of our chairs and our deans, and working with our faculty as owners of the curriculum and leaders of our program. We're always advocating for that. The first 12 is 12 credits, right? And the beauty there is the superintendents and the local districts can determine which classes comprise those 12 credits. Now, might we want them to be English 101, 102, college algebra, and let's just say a biology class or a chemistry class? Absolutely. Some districts can support that and have the teachers who are credentialed to offer those classes. Others cannot. So we allowed for a lot of flexibility for local districts to determine what they can and can't offer, but we provide them with as many resources as we can. The English department has had a summit. The math department has had a summit where, we are trying to be good partners to math and English high school teachers.
Right.
And then we're also considering, I probably don't want to reveal this in a public setting, but also considering this in some of our more technical and applied areas
Right.
as well.
Which would be great.
Yeah. And the pathways, absolutely. There are many schools that are pushing us to align with their pathways, so appreciate that.
And I know last year when I met at the ICCB board, they were very positive, and they talked about uniformity throughout the state, so that all the states are, or all the schools in the state are uniform on what their requirements are. Because I think we've seen that some do this and some do that and we do this. I think if we have uniformity, which they said, yes, they totally agreed, and that was something they were working on. So it seems like they're collectively working with us.
Perfect. Thank you for the questions. Chair?
Item 1.5.2, the Facilities Master Plan. Karen Kissel.
Is Michael Lundeen, principal of Leggett Architects Box in the black term. I would like to say that, as you may recall, in February, the Board of Trustees approved a contract. Can you hear now?
There you go.
Sorry, there's too many papers here. As you may recall, in February, the Board of Trustees approved a resolution to hire Leggett Architects to provide a facilities master plan for our campus, which will guide the development of our campus for the next 10 to 15 years. Michael's here today to provide you an overview of the planning process, how stakeholders, including the board, will be involved, milestones, and the timeline. Take it away, Michael.
Great. Thank you, Karen. Great clicker. So as Karen mentioned, we're going to just give you an overview of the process here tonight. Thanks again for giving us this opportunity. We're going to be giving lots of updates along the way, just to make sure the board is in the loop on this. So as far as process, if I was to simplify it onto one page, this is a diagram we came up with. We're really, there's two parts to it. There's defining the problem and solving the problem. And it's so important to understand that as a concept. I mean, there's master plans that I've seen a lot of master plans that are done that try to solve everything for everything that everyone is asked about. And one of the things we find is most important in master plans is first defining the problem. And that's what happens during the first phase of the master plan. And that includes 3 parts: gather, envision, define. I'm going to talk about those a little bit more in a moment. And at the end of the define, we identify several objectives. And those objectives are going to be brought to the cabinet, and the cabinet's going to bring them to the board as recommendations. And we're hoping that the board will also endorse those, that we're going to go forward. So that in part 2, we'll be solving what the whole group has decided, this is what we need to solve. Nothing quite like, an elegant, how does it go, solution to the wrong problem. So we want to avoid that. And so this process will get us there. And so breaking that down a little further, that part 1, which is the gathering, we're in the process right now of developing some goals with the cabinet that'll be, brought forth for the task force to use. We're gathering information like floor plans, utilization studies, the environmental scan, lots of information about the campus. We're walking the campus, doing assessments, to really make sure we understand the campus prior to going into a series of interviews. Those interviews, of which one of those will be with the board. It's going to start with the workshop. It's going to come up in a month or so. We're at those interviews, we talk to all the different departments across campus, whether it's academic departments, facilities, administrative, the foundation, and so forth. So we gather from the group, because I think these groups understand the campus the most, what some of the issues are, where they see the college is going, where the deficiencies are, and so forth, in the space that they have, as well as where they're trying to go from a programmatic standpoint. And so we'll end up pulling together all of these needs and requests. And again, they're just needs and requests, they're not objectives yet. With the task force, we'll then, through an evaluation, we refer to it as the rubric, we're going to weigh each of those needs and requests against the series of goals. What are we really trying to accomplish? And how those align, develop our base objectives. And of course, the cabinet and the task group, that task force, and then ultimately the board will kind of evaluate and probably sculpt those a little bit. But generally, that'll give us the objectives of what we're trying to solve. In part 2, we'll go through a period of what I refer to as pre-programming. It's not really programming a building, but really trying to get an understanding of whether it's renovation or whether it's new construction, of how big it is. So we can find out whether that'll fit as a renovation or whether it needs to be new construction. Where does it want to go on campus? We need to know how big it is. And then we'll develop a series of options. So whether those options are new construction, renovation, remodeling, whatever that turns out to be, that'll be taking place in part 2, as well as some prioritization of those. Is part 3 is really about documenting that solution, putting together a timeline, phasing, perhaps cost, maybe a financial plan. All of that will wrap up the overall master plan. As you can see at the top here, there's a series of dates. Between March and November, we're trying to wrap up part 1. December through March of 2026, part 2, and then part 3, we should be finished up by the summer. Actually completing either whether it's an electronic book or it's a printed book. That'll be the master plan. So there are some milestones along the way, and these are some of the milestones. This board meeting, as an introduction of the process, is really important. And at the end of part 1, there will be also another board update. And then we're targeting a July 30th to be a part of the board workshop, perhaps an hour. I know we have to negotiate that out on what that's going to be. I'll talk about that in a later slide. Coming up in August, we're looking at getting started with the task force. The task force has been identified. We're going to have 4 meetings with them during part 1, where we're going to work through a series of issues and get ourselves set up for the input in the interviews with all of the departments across campus. So along the way, we'll provide updates to the cabinet, also to some of the other groups across the campus, and get input from deans and so forth, and then end up with the evaluations requests and the rubric to develop our objectives. And then part 2, series of other updates, including board update, and expecting we're going to get board buy-in to that. And the idea would be is by bringing it to you, we never get to a point where, how did we get here? So we'll be bringing updates to the board on a regular basis. Any questions with this as a process right now, or anything we can drill into more detail on this?
Yes.
The only question I have, Mike, is relating to the strategic plan.
Mhm.
Will that be incorporated then? Because when looking at, it's 24 to 27, so if he's pushing into 26, are we gonna be then pushing this then into 27 so that it matches up with whoever's gonna do that? Okay.
Great question. And then the workshop. So we're targeting July 30th for a workshop. And actually, we're going to really talk about three topics. One is the future of higher education. We have a really, Sylvia from our office, one of our other team members working on the project has put together a great video to kind of talk about some of the challenges that higher education has going forward. Want to talk about the JJC goals, get input from the board on those. And then talk about what some of the board's aspirations are for the master plan. Hopefully we'll have, we'll break into some groups, maybe get some good input from the board members at that workshop. So we're still kind of defining that a little bit further, but that's the general outline. So that's my presentation for tonight. Any other questions that we can answer?
Questions? Thank you, Mike.
I have just a general question. I know you're setting the goals for JJC. Will that include us as board goals too, besides the school goals, so that we have a collaboration together?
We're going to definitely talk about those at the workshop.
Okay.
Right now, working with the cabinet, and they haven't been shared with the task group because we haven't met with the task force yet.
Okay.
But we're expecting the task force is going to, have to digest those also and say, yep, we agree with those, and we'll be looking to get your input on the 30th.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you on 30th.
Item 1.5.3, the faculty union report. Kurt Ward.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It's hard to believe tomorrow is the end of the first 6 weeks of summer. Time has flown by. No, it just means I switched from hybrid electric to diesel is what it really means. But anyway, anytime I get a chance to speak, first thing I always like to do is highlight the students. And I immediately thought of the record number of our students who earned honor roll status this spring. And quite frankly, that's why we teach, right, is their success. And as I thought about that, I thought, this past academic year was one of many challenges, of many varieties. And so I have to take my hat off to the faculty who got those students to that finish line. And at the same time, I always want to make sure that I appreciate the staff and the administration who stands behind us and makes that happen. But it's interesting, if you walk the halls right now on a Wednesday or a Thursday afternoon, you'd think we'd all left and gone on summer vacation. Because you only hear your own footsteps. But I want to share with you some of the things that are going on that aren't necessarily in the classroom, but I think are phenomenal. And this is just a short sample, but Noella DeCruz of Natural Sciences is presenting her research on solar eclipses at the American Astronomical Society conference in Anchorage, Alaska. John Lyon of Social and Behavior Sciences is presenting at the Historians of the 20th Century United States Conference at Lancaster University in England. Roya Falahi, and I apologize, Roya, I messed that last name up horribly, of Social and Behavior Sciences is presenting at a conference on modern approaches to humanities and social science in Madrid, Spain. And something that's just a little bit different, Mary Sue Gurka has had a group of students from the technical department in Germany and an exchange on the vocational level. I get a glimpse of these projects because I sit on the faculty development committee. And I'm going to tell you, the research in these presentations are on par with what you'd see at a major research university. And we always talk about what a great value JJC is economically, and there's no question you can't beat it. But my gosh, what a great place to learn. And so with that, I tip my hat to these folks and others that I haven't mentioned because they're clearly going well beyond what would be expected in a community college classroom. And with that, I'll say thank you and enjoy the rest of your summer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 1.5.4, we will not have an adjunct faculty union report. We'll be moving on to 1.5.5, the JJC Foundation report with Christine Mulvey, who has no report for tonight. 1.5.6, Building and Grounds Committee report, Trustee Bottomley and Trustee Bishop.
Yeah, absolutely. The Buildings and Grounds Committee did not meet this month, so this time we do not have a report.
Well, this is going good. Item 1.5.7, the Board Policy Committee report, Trustee Garcia Guillen, Trustee Harris, and Trustee Bishop.
We do have a brief report.
You had to ruin it.
I know. Next time. I don't think so, but good try. So we'll provide additional details once we get to the new business under 4.1. But just for your reference, there's 3 readings that are in your books, and they're first readings for the following policies. 4.1.1, that is the pay for performance for eligible non-union exempt and non-exempt employees. Then 4.1.2 is the retiree benefits, event passes, tuition waiver, and fitness center. And then we have a new policy that is 4.1.3, that is the hazing prevention. This is just a brief introduction. Again, once we get to 4.1, we'll go ahead and break down the different policies just for your reference. These policies will be coming up for second reading next board meeting as a heads up. That's all I have at this time.
Thank you. Item 1.5.8, the Finance Committee report, Trustee Morales, Trustee Bottomley, and Trustee Bishop.
I'm more than happy to just kind of give a quick one on this. We did not have any Finance Committee meeting this month, so we really don't have a report. I am not sure if you guys are all aware, we are voting on a budget tonight, so look for that.
Thank you. Item 1.5.9, the Student Trustee report with Trustee Bishop.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see all of you again, and this time hopefully I've got the clicker working. So really quick, we're going to get into today's student trustee report. It's going to be very brief in an effort to move along into the fun stuff, right? Okay, well, I said I had it working. Apparently I didn't.
There you go.
There we go. Okay, so I had the pleasure of attending the Illinois Community College Trustee Association Trustee Development. It's a requirement for all new trustees, and oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how much I learned. We covered the Open Meetings Act, FOIA compliance, which is Freedom of Information Act. We covered financial oversight and fiduciary responsibility, and collective bargaining agreements and negotiations. Sorry, really quick, I'm gonna go back and touch on, we went down with Trustee Broderick, Trustee Harris, Trustee Bottomley, Chairman Budzinski, and Dr. Namuo. It was a great time, learned a lot about how to, I don't want to say navigate a budget, but how to really critically evaluate some different aspects that play into the overall end product for a student. I also had the pleasure of attending the State of the City in Morris on the 18th. We went with Trustee Harris, Budzinski, Bottomley, Morales, Kelly Rotatunelli, and Christy Mulvey. It was hosted by the Grundy County Chamber of Commerce. I had a pleasure being there. I got to meet the mayor, Chris Brown. He was very friendly, and Dr. Namuo was actually a keynote speaker there. I'm sure he'll touch on that in his report, though. I also attended the Illinois Legislative Update Breakfast this morning with Trustee Harris, Kelly Rotatunelli. We covered education, so that includes House Bill 3717, which, as a lot of you probably know, is Illinois Community College Baccalaureate degrees. It was a very, very brief update. It is currently in rules, but hopefully we'll see that change. We talked about energy and the state level budget. As for upcoming events, we're looking forward to the fall semester start. It is a little slower right now, but OSA, as always, has some great activities. They're doing the Goose Chase scavenger hunt. I saw some of the signs up today. There are little, I don't know what you would call them, little posters with Dr. Namua's head on them that you can go take a picture with. It's right outside of D1010.
I don't recall approving that, but for now, I approve.
Okay. You know, it's really fun. It's cool. It gets you walking too, especially for the Walking With campaign.
Right.
Tomorrow, I encourage you all to attend the JJC Department of Adult Education and Literacy graduation ceremony. It will be held in Lower J at 5 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. They're also doing a popcorn pop-up with OSA on the 30th. On the 1st is the OSA Field Day, which I think is the first time they're doing a field day, so really looking forward to that. And then on the 2nd, they're doing HIV testing through the Will County Health Department. And that's going to conclude my report. I really look forward to seeing all of you at the beginning of the fall semester and obviously during our board retreat where we'll get to know one another better, set some expectations, and talk more about creating a collaborative environment across the board. It was a pleasure to address you all.
Good job, Brandon.
At this time, we have a request. I know we have a quorum here, but Trustee Morales is now available and would like to join online. If any of the trustees have any objections?
No objections.
No objections, then we can allow her to join. And it was for medical, so.
Trustee Alicia, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can
Okay,
you hear me?
perfect. Yes,
Thank you.
yes, we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 1.5.10, the President's Report.
Thank you, Chairman. As staff is bringing the presentation here, anticipated to take just a couple of minutes for that to happen, I want to direct your attention to the left of Judy Connolly there, and you'll see the National Championship Trophy for our women's golf team. A few weeks ago. Oh, come on, let's give the women's golf team a hand, shall we? I think Judy's going to hold it up there. Thank you, Judy. Thank you. The seeds that this board planted, along with Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Farmer, your investment in athletics and sports is really starting to pay off, both in the classroom, but on the field. So I just want to send congratulations to Coach Skip, Coach Brooke, our athletic director, Greg Braun, Dean Angie Kaysen-Lesbitek, who's in the room right now, and really all of our staff and coaches who support our athletics team. I'm so thrilled to congratulate our national champion women's golf team. How about another hand for them? Thank you. And with that, Chairman, I've got a few things. Perfect. Thank you. There are a few items up for the board's consideration today. The first two that I've highlighted here, the board will receive additional information on when that time comes. The next, and you all heard me make a statement about our budgeting process and commend our finance team, our controller, Jeff Heap, Karen Kissel, and all the work she does to prepare this budget that takes months and months and months and a lot of really hard work. So I wanted to highlight just a few things and really thank the board for, as Trustee Bottomley mentioned in her Finance Committee report, for considering the FY26 budget. The administration has worked diligently to develop a responsible, balanced, and future-focused financial plan, one that aligns with our strategic priorities, fulfills our obligations to the people who operate and lead JJC, and ensures continuity of service for our students and our community. The budget itself reflects our commitment to fiscal stewardship, to transparency, and the values this institution stands for. And I appreciate the Finance Committee's involvement, and I thank the staff who have fielded and responded to some questions leading up to today. And to the board, thank you for your continued partnership as we work to build a brighter future and build upon JJC's legacy of excellence. And I thought I'd highlight just a couple of awards that we've been given as a result of the implementation of different budgets over the years. I want to take a moment. We've got summer enrollment, and I'm going to skip past this one. You'll see that summer enrollment is up, tuition credits up 1.35%. We're largely flat in both head count and tuition credit for the summer. I want to focus on the fall, though, and just spend a little bit of time here. And this will connect to my employee spotlight at the end of the presentation. I want you to focus in on the 10.66 number. And Dr. Brooks knows exactly where I'm going with this number right here. So we've talked about leading measures to college access and success, right? What does it take to increase your likelihood to go to college? Well, from a dual credit standpoint, you're 20% more likely. If you participate in dual credit, you're 20% more likely to go to college. Let's start there, to just go to college. So all of our students who are participating in 12 by 12 by 12 increase their chances of going to college. Do not believe me with that number. The ICCB puts out an annual dual credit report that I'm happy to provide the board that cites these different statistics. But I want to focus on the 10.66 number right there. So you might wonder, at this point in the process, why are we up? The Student Advising Center, and this is again another budget connection today, the Student Advising Center has increased their services to students by 49% from calendar year 2023, serving back then 4,282 students to now 6,413 students. And so let's be clear, this board has made a 3-year commitment to add additional advisors in addition to providing specific advising services to help guide their pathway through JJC. They're meeting with students earlier, getting them into classes earlier, and more students are signing up as a result. So the advising team has initiated a strong summer orientation program for new students, which has resulted in nearly 900 new participants than last summer. This summer's program is already growing. Our advising staff continues to leverage critical resources and systems like EAB Navigate to support our students' academic plans and track their persistence to graduation. So, Chairman, if you all would again give a round of applause to our advisors who are impacting that number right there. Thank you so much. So some around the campus, we welcome Jihang Lee, the president and CEO of the Association of Community College Trustees. I appreciate Chairman for breaking away from his day job to be here and show Jihang around the campus, a friend of JJC, and you'll see some of the beyond the district pictures later, but a great advocate for the nation's very first community college. I want to welcome to the community a new friend of mine, the new president of the University of St. Francis, Dr. Ryan Henriksen, who also happens to be the 10th president. So he did make a 10 by 10 by 10 joke, and I have a feeling there's a punchline coming at a later date, but he and I will collaborate, each of us being the 10th presidents of our institution. I want to thank the GEDC, the Grundy Economic Development Council, of which I'm a member, for taking us on a tour of Aux Sable liquid products. Just in a fascinating tour. And as we were walking around the building and then driving in the van around Aux Sable, they'll produce a lot of nitrogen-related products. The individual giving us the tour was, drum roll please, a JJC alum, but very specifically an alum of the OET program. I can't go a week without hearing about the OET program among our advanced manufacturing partners. Had the pleasure of presenting to the Frankfurt Chamber of Commerce as well. And thank the trustees for their engagement. I'm not sure that I have much more to offer. Trustee Bishop did a fantastic job, and I appreciate him upgrading my welcome remarks to a keynote address. I really appreciate that. I want to thank the trustees who joined us and my team to honor the African American Business Association. Keynote speaker there was Jesse Jackson Jr., and so we got a picture with him. Now, in my role as a member of GHANG's ACCT Advisory Group of Presidents, I had a chance to visit Arizona State University's Innovation Lab called Dreamscape, and it was really an incredible experience that merged VR and augmented reality. Unfortunately, I was not able to take any pictures of the augmented reality space, but let me just say, I guess for proprietary reasons, but let me just say it was really cool. And I'll be pushing our team to consider, embrace, explore different ways to utilize augmented reality specifically. I did have a chance to travel in my very first Waymo, which is very scary, frankly. I want to thank Dr. Lorenzo Baber, who is the department chair of the Office of Community College Research and Leadership at the University of Illinois, a really prominent premier research organization. Produces a lot of great research. He invited Dr. Proctor with Harper College and I to talk about the modern day presidency, so really appreciate that. And again, our time down in Bloomington, what a great time together. And I suppose one other thing I'd add there is just a quick shout out to our partners at Constellation Clean Energy Centers. Both Jackie and Sharon were able to join us, and while we did not come away with the prize, the win for the corporate partnership, you know, their partnership is something to celebrate, and we appreciate all they do in support of our students and our programs in the technical department. Again, shout out to Coach Skip, Coach Brooke, job well done. Tiana and I had a chance to visit the team on campus to say hi, welcome them back after their long drive from Northeast New York State. Just really appreciate them. And here we have all of our advisors, and I want to provide just a little bit additional information here. We've gotten, and thanks to the board's commitment and support, advising has been able to scale up their capacity to serve our students. Currently, the team includes 8 academic advisors, 5 success coaches, a transfer specialist, and a team of approximately 60 faculty members contracted to support the advising of students during the semester. And those are some of the individuals you see here, and that is this month's celebration of success. And Chairman, as I think about these past 3 years for me, I just want to extend continued gratitude for the Board of Trustees for plucking me from all that sunshine, all that pesky sunshine, and bringing me to this terrible humidity here in the Midwest. You know, my family and I have really embraced being with Midwesterners. We've really enjoyed our time here. It's just been an incredible experience, and I have a lot of gratitude to share to my team of executive leaders, to the incredible students at JJC, to all of our employees who are, champions of this incredible institution. Only 10 people can say they've been president of the nation's very first community college, and it is a tremendous honor to continue in this role. And again, thank the board for your continued support. And I'll leave you with a quote, Chairman. I think you're going to like this one. The quote comes from Jelly Roll. Okay. Famous singer, look him up if you don't already know him. And his quote is this: as we think about, all the cool things we've done together, there's a lot more work to be done. So in the words of the great philosopher Jelly Roll, I want to tell you that the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror for a reason. And with that, I'll yield back. Thank you, Chair.
Can I have you back up a few
Sure,
slides?
sure, yeah.
Couple more.
Okay.
One more.
Huh?
That one right there.
Okay.
In case I was sleeping, the gentleman who joined us in the middle, who was up for a faculty award,
Oh, Javier Reyes, yes, yes, shout out to Javier. Yeah, thank you. Chef Reyes, yes, thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Moving on to 1.6, at this time, the chair is requesting a closed session of the board under 2C5, 2C6, and 2C11.
So move.
Second.
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Welcome back. Item 1.7, chair requests a motion to return to public session.
So moved. Second.
Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee? Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 1.8.1, the approval of minutes of the regular meeting held on May 21st, 2025.
Motion to accept.
So move. Second.
Who moved on that?
I did.
Trustee Harris.
Harris and Morales. Seconded, okay. Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 1.9, the approval of tonight's agenda.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no.
No.
Motion carries.
Item 1.10, the approval of consent agenda as presented.
So move.
Second.
I'd like some items pulled.
Hold on one second. We are going to preemptively poll 3.2.10 and 3.1, or 3.2.11. Any other items?
3.1, 3.2.16, and is 3.6 on it or not? I'm looking to see if that is. 3.6.
Any other items? Okay. Karen, ready for a vote, please?
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
First pulled item, 3.1, approval to pay the listing of bills for the period ending May 31st, 2025 as presented.
Second.
I had asked for the KGG non-redacted legal bills. I did not get those. And I'm also concerned with regards to what the new billing's going to be as far, this is the sixth time I'm bringing it up on 8/1 because it changes per the RFP. And then I'm also looking at the Kozik Witzel McGrath deductible of $25,000 and questioning if our legal is involved, if our current counsel is involved in something that this legal is taking over.
Did you receive the redacted copies?
No. I didn't receive any legal bills. And those are my monthly normal requests.
Chairman, let me jump in, and Trustee Broderick, I think we must have missed that request. I know you
was first
send
on my
that.
list. It was
Yeah, you
first.
send that each
I sent it out
month, and
yeah, I
that's,
sent it last Wednesday.
yeah, so, yeah.
It was
that-
listed under board matters as the subject line of her email.
Okay. That's our oversight, Trustee Broderick, so we can provide that,
Okay.
of course, and working with Brian as we normally do, and,
Okay, that would be good.
yeah.
I think that got lost with like the gazillion emails that you sent, so you'll get that.
Okay, stop.
They were informative emails, though.
What was the second item?
The other one was the 25,000 for the Kozak Wetzel McGrath PC, which is the insurance deductible. And I'm just asking if we are getting charged by KGG for any of those, since it's covered by that law firm.
Go ahead, Karen.
No, we're not. Oh, sorry, Dr. Farmer. No, we're not.
We're not. Okay,
And the third item?
that was it. I just have the two.
Okay.
Thank you.
Michelle, did you have something you had asked?
I think it lacks transparency when it is our job and our fiduciary duty to oversee the legal bills and to vote on them, that they are redacted. And I think that that is, lacks transparency. And I also will be voting no on the bills until we receive the legal bills non-redacted.
They're not being redacted.
They have been before, as I've seen when I've looked at them, so that's not true. I don't know what you're receiving, but ours are redacted.
And then
If I may
did,
speak to that.
Yes, sir.
So Trustee Lee, you and Trustee Broderick had filed lawsuits against the college. And my time entries speak to my strategy and the things that I've been involved with those before the insurance company took over the defense of them. I can't provide you with unredacted copies of those bills, because then you would see what the strategy is and you could share it with your counsel. That's just common sense. I can't do that.
You have redacted bills going very far back for Maureen before she ever filed a lawsuit. You have also redacted bills for me when I requested them before the lawsuit was ever filed, which is a part of the reason why we're filing the lawsuit, is because we do not have transparency and we are not getting things that we have a fiduciary duty to vote on. The fact that she's ever received redacted bills, other than what you say, and all of the things that were redacted on those bills, I looked on them, they were not just to do with that particular situation. They didn't just state you talking to the other law firm. They didn't just state that it could have at least stated that it was that specific situation, and there were things redacted that had nothing to do with that
Yeah,
situation.
some of those redactions involve personnel issues for privacy of the individuals involved, where there are things that do not come before this board. There are things I'm working on with the chief human resources officer, things like that. Contracts that haven't been brought to the board yet, where specific items of negotiation are discussed in there. We treat the request as if it were a FOIA request. And so we redact the things that shouldn't be out in the public yet. Once
We are
those
not the
contracts
public.
are discussed or approved by this board, or anything comes before this board, then those redactions can be removed.
and I have one more question then. I know that on my case, you were assigned as the attorney, but yet the insurance lawyer said he was supposed to be initially, and we got charged by you for fees.
Correct.
Why did that happen?
Because I was handling the matter until the insurance company agreed to accept the coverage in defense of it.
Because it was 4 months lag time, and the judge questioned that. Why? So that's what I'm asking.
I have no idea what you're talking about in that regards, but I was helping the college out, and I was also requested by the insurance council to assist with a few things.
Oh.
So I have done that as well. But there was no double billing. We weren't both appearing in court at the same time or anything like that.
Okay.
I would like to be recognized. Are you good?
Pardon me?
Is there anything
No,
else
the
that
only
you
thing
need
I
to share
asked,
for
the
the
only
last
thing I asked them
46
was
seconds?
the billing system for KGG, since it's gonna start new on 8/1/25. There was the one with retention, second with retention, and third was hourly. I think we need to be reexamining that before August 1st to see which one we're gonna go with for economic purposes.
We're having a very difficult time hearing everyone, so, Crystal, okay. So we're going to request for the microphones to be increased. It's very difficult to hear you.
Can you hear us now?
Still very low.
I think now this one is working.
Trustee Broderick, definitely Trustee Lee. And definitely Trustee Lee, we can't.
We just want to be prepared to respond to questions, and so we want to make sure we hear them properly.
Test.
Hello? Maybe we need to get super close.
Yeah.
Yes,
Pull it
maybe
up.
so. Thank you. That would be helpful.
So you can hear us better then, right?
Much better, thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah, we moved them closer.
Yeah.
Trustee Broderick, you still have 25 seconds. Anything else that you need to mention?
No, I basically got it done. I'm okay with that. I mean, there are some things that I question on the, this under $5,000 bills, but I'll bring those up in budget discussions.
Okay. Thank
Maureen,
you.
I have a question for you. You've been on this board for a really long time. Have you ever had legal bills redacted from you before?
No.
I would like to be recognized.
Trustee Garcia again.
Yes. So as a reminder, the redactions, again, some of the information on the bills do not need to be released at that particular moment and is compliant with our policies in terms of keeping some information not shared at that particular time, just for confidentiality, privacy, and different things that are going on. So all of that meets the requirements and is compliant with our policies. Also, we were talking about the lawsuit. Both of them were dismissed, so it's not something that we need to worry about anymore. I'll yield my time.
Chair
I'd like to be recognized.
Maureen, our lawsuit hasn't been dismissed.
Pardon me?
Our lawsuit hasn't been dismissed.
No.
Actually, it has.
At this time, I'm
No, it's reinstated.
I'm gonna ask our attorney to bring us up to date with where these are so that we can get questions removed and answered.
Sure, there were two lawsuits filed. The first would be Trustee Broderick and Trustee Lee filed a lawsuit pertaining to some actions taken by this board in February of 2023, I believe it was. I'm sorry, 2024, relating to the censures of Trustee Broderick. That lawsuit was dismissed on May 23rd, I believe, by the judge, by the court. The other lawsuit was brought by Trustee Broderick, Trustee Lee, and Mr. Wunderlich. That was dismissed by agreement after the election. Mr. Wunderlich was seeking to have a seat on the board once the election happened and new trustees were seated. Their attorney agreed to dismissal with prejudice, so that case cannot come back.
And just point of reference to the first case you mentioned.
Trustee Bottomley is in line.
Pardon me?
Trustee Bottomley is in line to speak, and then Trustee Morales, before we go to you. Trustee Bottomley?
Thank you, Trustee Garcia. This is relevant. It's not directly applicable to the conversation at hand, but I would like to just give a reminder to all of us as trustees up here. I said it at our last meeting, I'm going to say it again. The way that we speak to each other matters. We can all disagree. We can all agree. That's great. That's fine. Please, throughout this entire evening, let's not diminish questions that a trustee asks if you agree or do not agree with them. That is a standard and a treatment of each other that I'm not going to stand for. Thank you.
Trustee Morales?
Yes, thank you. So the reason none of the prior legal bills have been redacted is because there were no lawsuits in the past by any trustees to the college up until recently. Thank you.
Trustee Harris, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't.
Trustee Garcia again, do you have anything to add?
Not anymore. Thank you.
Trustee Broderick, you have 11 seconds on your rebuttal time.
Yes. The court case with myself and Michelle, due to the new judge that had to have both attorneys present, she dismissed it because the two attorneys did not know, so it's being reinstated, just so you know, point of reference.
Any other comments or discussions?
So neither attorney showed up then?
Pardon me?
So neither attorney showed up?
They were on Zoom, but she wouldn't accept Zoom.
Okay, so both were on Zoom.
Okay, we're ready to vote on the approval of the listing of bills, please.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
I'll abstain.
Trustee Lee?
No.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Buzinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next pulled item is item 3.2.10, professional service, technical personnel supplementation for the ERP restart project.
Thank you, Chairman. We'll test it to the executive sponsor of that important initiative, Dr. Farmer.
Wait, we need a motion.
Oh, apologies.
So
Wait a
moved.
second.
Second.
Discussion? or information.
Thank you, Trustee Garcia. Dr. Farmer?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Newell. And again, good evening, trustees and members of the JJC community. So on your agenda this evening, you have two important agenda items regarding our ERP. So the first one I want to discuss is 3.211, the Professional Resource Planning, the ERP. It is a 3-year agreement to support our continuation in transitioning to Ellucian, specifically SaaS, the SaaS environment. Now, as your executive sponsor, I would like to once again thank the board for your ongoing support. This journey has spanned, and most of you know this, for over 5 years. And for many of us sitting in this room tonight, it's been longer than that. But I want to commend the JJC community because we've made some significant progress due to the dedication of our faculty, staff, and our students. Now, for our new board members, Trustee Bottomley and also Bishop, I want to provide kind of a detailed update that I provided to the board in January. So to briefly recap, we moved from the ERP restart phase. I believe the board members will remember that. And we are now focused on a phase of optimization and modernization. We'll take a moment to pause. Also, we have adjusted the go-live date. If you recall, the go-live date originally would be June of 2025. And we pushed that back to December of 2025 to ensure quality implementation. But most importantly, and the board members, you will recall this, it was important for us to complete a comprehensive global technical assessment, what we call the architect review, of the entire college community, specifically the technology. And we've already received the results of that assessment, and we are beginning to really have some conversations with the college community in alignment with our guiding principles of being transparent and open communication. So the request before you this evening really highlights 3 important areas. First, I want to talk about the financial capital, your investment. We've approached this investment strategically and also very intentionally. Unlike the 10-year contract that we signed in the past, I think most of you remember that, right, Trustee Lee? And we also made a very heavy investment. Tonight's request is to sign a 3-year extension, plus 1 year of continuation of our current on-prem environment. I also would like to note that when we decided to push back the go-live date, we did so in partnership with the Ellucian, and of course, we did that without incurring any additional costs. You recall that. That really speaks to the courageous conversations that we continue to have with our partners, such as Campus Works and also Ellucian. The second one has to do with human capital. You all know that this project is demanding. Implementation fatigue is real for a lot of us here at JJC. But extending our engagement with Ellucian gives us a runway and also provides some consistencies that we need to really maintain momentum. So if you recall, we cleaned millions and millions of data points. We continue to manage over 60 integrations. And most importantly, we continue to do so by supporting the hard work of our faculty and staff as we move forward with this implementation. But last but not least is really about our student capital. Ultimately, our aim is to be operationally efficient. That's important to us. But it's important to modernize our system for our students. I don't know if you know this, but this year, a lot of our faculty and staff attended Ellucian Live for the first time. We had over 17 staff members there. It provided momentum, a lot of energy, and clear vision as we move forward with this project. So, Trustee, your approval tonight will allow us to continue the momentum. That's important to us. We are steadfast. I'm going to continue to be open and transparent with all of you. And then lastly, in August, I will be present once again. I'm going to share the results of the Global Architect Review Assessment with all of you. And also, I will bring to you a comprehensive budget, as I've done before with the ERP restart. If you recall, I shared that budget with all of you. And then most importantly, a timeline and also some milestones. And I plan on bringing our partners. Ellucian will be here in partnership with me in August, and also Campus Works. So once again, I want to stress to all of you, I really appreciate your commitment to this project. It continues to be a heavy lift for this institution, but we continue to move forward. And we are at a renewal. This is our renewal. We're being strategic. Instead of signing a 10-year agreement, it's 3 years versus a 5-year. And that gives us time to continue to move this project forward. At this time, I would love to entertain any questions you may have, trustees.
Trustee Harris, do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank you very much for your work and all of that.
Can you hear me now? Is this better?
Yes.
Okay. See, I'm
Yeah.
just
And-
going on with the microphones today.
And I
Did you
made
hear
a
me?
statement
Yes.
thanking you very much for your dedication and getting it done. We appreciate that.
Thank
I
you.
was new when I started hearing about it, and I think you definitely sticking with it, and look
Thank
forward
you.
to the finished product.
Well,
Thank
it's
you for
something that we inherited, including Dr. Namuo. However, I really want to give credit to the faculty and staff who are really working hard daily with this project. Thank
Yes.
you.
Trustee Lee, do you have any comments or questions?
Remind me, how much was the original 10-year contract?
I knew you were going to ask me that. For 3 years, it was $11 million.
You mean for 10 years?
For 10 years, I'm sorry. 10 years. So 10 years, $7.5 million. Thank you, Kissel.
Okay, so this is a lot more compared to that, I thought. So if it was,
Get closer.
I'm just pointing out if it was 7 million for a 10-year contract, and we're at almost 3 for a 3-year contract. So it's a significant increase in expense. Is there a reason that we have to increase that so much for each year?
Every year it goes up, and it's technology. It continues to advance, unfortunately. Yeah, Kissel?
I just wanted to say that we've been spending some time with Lucian trying to
Oh, yes.
negotiate those rates.
Wanna make sure.
And so we'll be working on that over the next few days.
So, okay, so Kissel indicated, I just want the board to know that we've been having real courageous conversations with the Lucian. And although in front of you today, it's a number, that more than likely, we may be able to get that number down in negotiation with them. I just want you to know that as well. We will continue to move forward with that.
Any other
Thank you,
comments or
Trustee
questions?
Lee.
No, thank you.
Trustee Broderick.
Out of curiosity, you know that I was with it.
I know.
When we approved it, and I'm always cost conscious,
Sure.
being in finance. Where are we at about now with the cost of this whole ERP system? Because I
So-
know you're doing it in August, but I have a sense of needing to know, because I
Sure.
can't pass something if we're that far above and beyond what we were.
Sure, that's a good question. So if you recall, when we first started this project, I presented a comprehensive budget for the ERP restart.
Right.
And the restart was to build the infrastructure, right? That was $6 million.
Right.
We still have money left over right now. We have not spent it yet.
So we have leftover.
We do.
Okay.
And if you recall, in the board packet, there's another agenda item in terms of supporting the technical support for our staff.
Right.
We're using some of that money that is left over,
Okay.
the $120,000, to support the technical support as we move forward.
Okay.
So we're being smart. You know, we haven't gone over the original budget at this time.
Okay, and as far as anything going further?
Yes.
Because I know when I've asked this question, you said, oh, there might be more. Oh, yeah, there is going to
Oh,
be more.
absolutely.
So
Yes.
how much more do we think? I mean, because are we optimizing to be better than what we were?
Of
Or
course.
still the same? Or, I mean, because I guess that's something we need to see what you're doing
Yes.
to improve it.
Absolutely.
And the
So
cost.
if you recall, the board approved us to move forward with this architect assessment.
Right.
And the assessment really provided great insight, some information we knew already.
Okay.
So when I move forward and share that assessment outcome and findings with you, we will share more information regarding your question.
Okay,
Okay?
got it. Thank
Because
you.
it would be more of a strategic plan I want to be able to share with you.
Okay, because, because I know when Dr. Namu first came on and he talked to Dan and I about it,
Yes.
it was still keeping with the workday system and another $3.5 million. And it's just, I get frightened when I keep seeing dollars increase.
Oh, it's
So
absolutely.
that's what bothers me. I want to see what we're going to end up with.
Yeah.
Because now the other colleges that are doing the workday program, they're also having increases,
Well, and that's another, with just a comment, kind of, I don't know that it needs to be answered, but this is the solution to our workday problem, essentially, right?
Right,
Right.
right.
Okay.
Correct.
That's where
Yeah,
we're at.
trustee Lee,
correct.
that's
And I
right.
just was looking at the cost.
Right, but
Yeah,
we're still
yeah.
paying workday, correct?
That's
We're
correct.
still hinged on her workday until we become independent from them, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
You are
I want to
correct.
jump in
Absolutely.
and,
Yes,
sorry,
go,
Dr.
please,
Farmer.
Dr.
I'd
Newell.
just like to jump in and emphasize one part of this is in August, Dr. Farmer, similar to what we did for the ERP restart, it presented a budget and a kind of a
I will do the
detailed breakdown.
same.
We'll do that for the optimization and modernization portion. This is Ellucian licensing to keep us running, right? And we're committed to the Ellucian SaaS solution.
Well, leucine is what we've been using for a really long time. right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah,
30
very
years.
stable. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Trustee
Once
Broderick,
Is
do you have
there
any
any
more for us?
reason, I guess the other thing,
Hold on, Trustee Broderick's time.
She's not trustee Broderick. She's trustee Lee.
No, it's your
No,
time.
it's your time. trustee.
Oh, you were saying, to me, I
I'm
thought
not-
you were calling her trustee.
I'm not sure if you had any additional questions at this time.
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
I was just wondering.
Trustee Morales is next. Trustee Morales?
Sorry, didn't see your hand raised.
Yes, thank you for that, for acknowledging. No, thank you for the report, Dr. Farmer. I know technology is extremely expensive. It's kind of like car insurance, every year it goes up, right? And
That's
you wonder
correct.
why. Inflation has gone up on everything. So we can't lie to taxpayers and tell them that, we are gonna keep these costs down because these are out of our control. We have to be honest with taxpayers and say, yes, we are having to make these investments and we do have to spend these funds because technology is something that we absolutely cannot afford to not have. So, for me to grandstand and tell a community that, I'm trying to save them money, of course we are, but we also have to be realistic and practical that the cost of technology is not cheap. So thank you so much for your report, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Morales.
I was actually quite the contrary, thinking
Excuse
why
me,
we only
excuse
went
me.
with a.
Point of
Trustee
order.
Garcia again.
I'm good.
You're good?
Yep.
Trustee Bottomley.
I'm good.
Why we only went with a 3-year contract when we've had them
Excuse
for
me.
10 years.
Trustee Bishop has the floor.
Dr. Farmer, I'd like to thank you for such a comprehensive report. Really quickly, I wanted to add, this is a long-term investment,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
And the end goal of this is to better support the students, staff, and faculty who educate these incoming generations, right? Although I can understand such a large number may bring some concern, if it is a long-term investment in future generations, I don't know how we could not support that.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
May I speak?
Trustee Harris, do you have any follow-up?
No, I don't.
Trustee Lee.
I was asking because we originally went with a 10-year contract. We have had them for a really long time. I see a 3-year contract that's more when I feel like if we would have went with another 10-year contract, would it have cut the cost? So I wasn't asking because I do not think that we don't need this. I quite contrary understand that this is one of the original systems that has worked for our school, and it is the solution to Workday. I'm very fully aware of the situation. I'm actually kind of just looking at the numbers and wondering why we didn't go with a longer contract to maybe cut the costs. And that's why I originally looked at
And
that
this-
number and asked for the 10-year. And
That's a very good question. We were offered a 1-year contract, and of course, we would never do a 1-year contract. A 3-year contract and also a 5. We went with a 3-year contract because there was some cost savings. And then also we need to be strategic. I just, in light of what happened in the past, I want to make sure that we make the right choice.
Okay, thank you. I
You're welcome.
appreciate your answer, you telling me that. Thank you. There wasn't even a 10-year contract offered
Correct.
this time.
Thank you. Dr. Namuo.
Chairman, am I good? Yes. No, I'm not on the board. Yeah. But I just wanted to comment that, something Trustee Lee mentioned made me think then of what Trustee Morales offered in regards to kind of ongoing costs. And Trustee Bishop, how expensive all of these things are. Here's what I'll commit to the board, and this is an easy commitment. This is a not to exceed number. I realize that I have some influence in this space now nationally because of what we've done and the success we've achieved as a result of the new direction and now our long-term commitment, which essentially is now being described as a best of breed on both sides, right? As Trustee Lee referenced, colleagues been doing this, Ellucian's been doing this for a long time, not only with Colleague and their migration to Colleague SaaS, but also with Banner and several other well-known industry products that support students across the country. So it's something we're committed to, but I do recognize now I have some influence with these organizations, and my commitment to the board is to get a good deal for the college and recognize this is a not to exceed number. If I'm successful, I'll bring that back to the board and we'll celebrate together. Oh, thank you, Chairman.
Trustee Broderick, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I do. Just so you know, there is a history of why we question it, because when we first signed on in 2019, we were supposed to be up and running fully, completely within 18 to 24 months. So that's why we all question it, and that's why, yes, there were other sources that we had to go to because we had to break away on the SAS part, but that's why we keep asking the questions, because there was a commitment in 2019 that was provided to us that we would be successful in it. Okay.
Trustee Morales, do you have anything to add?
No, I just want to thank Dr. Namul for recognizing that he does have some national influence and is going to work hard to get the college a good deal. We all have fiduciary responsibility. We all want to save the taxpayers' money, but at the same time, we do need to make the best investments, for the students and for our college. Thank you.
Trustee Garcia again. Trustee Bottomley. Trustee Bishop.
No comments at this time. Thank you.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to remind the board we are voting on 3.2.10 is what the motion in the second is on. Karen, we're ready to vote.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 3.2.11, professional service, enterprise resource planning.
So moved.
Second?
I know we just discussed this. Is there any need for further discussion?
No further discussion.
Then we're ready to vote on this.
I'm sorry, did you say we're ready to vote?
We're ready to vote for
Okay.
3.2.11.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 3.2.16, sole source, in-person training for the Title IX and behavior intervention teams.
So moved.
Second.
I pulled it. May I make my comment?
Yes.
Okay. The reason I pulled it is because I was looking at, it's Title IX, and I looked at the cost, and I look at if, we did a serious interview with Robin Schwartz, and they went through everything Title IX in our compliance that we had to do training. They're very well versed. I don't know why we don't engage that firm to make sure and covet that we don't have any problems with Title IX instead of going with this. I think this is more of an open situation. I'd rather have it contained with legal expertise over us.
I'm going to have Vice President Kissel to respond to this question.
Thanks, Dr. Farmer. The reason why this firm was chosen is because we already have protocols in place through a TICSA and NBITA, and they're already embedded in our policies and procedures. And this firm provides dedicated support which will align with existing policies and procedures that we have in place. They are best in breed in these two areas, and our team would benefit from just making sure that we're compliant with all federal rules and regulations and best practices and threat assessments and response. So that's why we have chosen this organization to work with us moving forward.
Any follow-up?
I'm still stuck on having somebody with legal background, and they came out very effectively talking about Title IX at the compliance. They gave us every detail. I would rather have someone that has the total legal background and be respected to have that.
Trustee Broderick, they do have legal background in this area, in this space.
Trustee Morales, do you have anything?
Yes, I just want to thank Karen for that explanation, and also by us imposing who we want to work with, that's overstepping and overreaching. The staff have made their decision, and we need to respect that they've done their due diligence in doing the research. Like Karen Kissel just mentioned, this organization also has legal background, so we have that, and then we also have our own legal with our attorney Brian Kochman on board as well. Thank you. I yield my time.
Trustee Garcia Guillen.
No additional comments at this time.
Trustee Bottomley.
No comment.
Trustee Bishop.
No comment.
Trustee Harris.
No comment.
Trustee Lee.
I agree with Trustee Broderick that, we should have legal counsel that is well-versed enough in this where we do not have to. We are paying a lot of money for our legal bills. I would think that they should be well-versed enough in this subject, as Robin Swartz would be, as we did vote to hire them, but they are not allowed to represent us. We wouldn't have to have this extra added cost with them as legal counsel.
Any follow-up from any of the trustees?
Can I seek clarification?
Yes.
Is this legal counsel?
No, this is training for staff.
I just wanted to make
Yes,
sure I
sir.
understood
No.
correctly.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Okay. The vote is for 3.2.16, sole source in-person training for the Title IX and behavioral intervention teams. We have a motion and a second.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
No.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
No.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Buzinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 3.6, Board of Trustee approval of the fiscal year 2027 resource allocation and management plan for the community colleges.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, hold on until I get the page.
And this was pulled by multiple people. I'm not sure who pulled it first.
Trustee Broderick.
Trustee Broderick?
I think I have. Bear with me. Okay, I am looking at the verbiage under this, number 2, under 3.62, Eastern Campus Development. It says we've been working on it, and I know we've been working on it since 2015, and it aligns with the institution's long-term strategic enrollment plans. And I think this is something that has to be reviewed and revisited, because I think what was aligned at that point in time that we were going forward was an Easter movement, and this is what it shows, and that's what I'm concerned about, that it is still in the process that we're approving. I'd like to see us double checking that out too.
Chairman, if I may, Trustee Broderick, thank you for that. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge how important the eastern part of our district is. The Lincoln Way High School District specifically is our second largest feeder school, or feeder district rather, behind Plainfield. So just want to acknowledge that. I want to acknowledge the board's commitment at the time to expanding their presence, JJC's presence on the eastern part of our region. Since then, we've honored that priority, let's just say at the time, in a number of different ways. We're currently exploring a potential partnership there. I'm not ready to reveal the details of that in a public forum just yet, but I want to invite Karen Kissel to talk a little bit about the ramp process, as this is something the board approves each year.
Sure, thanks, Dr. Namuo. So each year, ICCD requires us to submit by September 1st a ramp document. And this is a very futuristic look, 20, 30 years out of a development or a construction that we would be partnering with the state with in order to build, similar to what we did with the City Center campus, and similar to what we did here in Building A and other additions. So this is something that the institution has been talking about for quite some time. I know we're going to go through a new strategic planning process. We're going to do our facilities master plan. But in the absence of having that, we moved forward with this. This, again, has been on our list for quite some time. These would be monies that, if they became available, would become available decades from now. And we just wanted to continue moving this forward until we decided as an organization to change if we needed to change.
And I thank you for that, because more so in being in the high school district over there, their concern and parents' concerns as well as students was the I-80 issue of going west. And that's why they had kept saying, I hope you're going to do something with the east side. Because we had a lot of towns that did participate in night classes, but I do know they could do dual credit in the morning. So I'm just saying, there is more possibilities to be there. Thank you.
Trustee Morales?
She's muted.
Trustee Morales, do you have
She
any?
has to unmute herself.
Sorry, I said I have no comment, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Garcia again.
No comment.
Trustee Bottomley?
No comment.
Trustee Bishop?
No comment.
Trustee Harris?
Yeah, I just have a question, because this one was a little new to me. I wasn't familiar with it. In regards to the 2027 fiscal year, this particular project, does it, I'm careful how I say that, does it reflect a possible increase in tuition?
No, not at this time. Trustee Harris, this is every single community college submits their ramp document to ICCB. They go through it, they prioritize it, and then they submit it on our behalf to the state of Illinois. That's why it takes so long. So at this particular point, we're making no changes to tuition of any kind. If and when that discussion should ever come up, obviously we'd present that into the information to the board for your approval and discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Lee?
No comment.
Okay. Trustee Broderick, did you have any follow-up?
Yeah, I just want to ask, on that second page where it says scope of work narrative, it seems as though the cost factors are quite low. Will that be upgraded? What's the position that you do on that? Because when you're looking at total estimated cost of 57 million, I know it's well over 100 million for all of that. So I'm just asking, will there be an increase because of significant inflation in costs?
Every year, the facilities team works together to take a look at cost adjustments,
Okay.
and they're reflected in each one, in the documents each year. On average, we like to say, I know this is just a rule of thumb, it's probably $1,000 a square foot for a building, all in, complete, furnished with the proper equipment for our students to learn in. That is a JJC standard.
Okay.
But each year, we do look at this and reflect those updated numbers in the documents that are presented to you.
Thank you.
Are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Let's vote is on item 3.6.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 3.9.1, a motion to suspend rules to temporarily allow for public comment on the fiscal year 2026 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Remind me, did we get a second?
Yes.
Yeah, we did. Trustee Morales, second. Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Karen, are there any public comments?
I do not have any.
Okay. Item 3.9.2, a motion to return to regular session.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Bazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'd
Item
like the
3.
motion to table the next item of 3.9.3.
Okay, on a motion to table, till when?
Till next month, till July.
Till next one. Okay, so there's no meeting scheduled in July.
Until August.
If you motion to table it, a motion to table is the improper motion at this time. It should be a motion to postpone.
Postponement, to postponement.
Okay.
I'll do it as a postpone.
And then I need a date
Then I would say July, the end of July, July 26th, I'll say.
to July. Okay.
July.
Okay. Second.
Discussion?
The reason I'm
Yes,
asking for a
yes.
postponement
Okay.
is because there was over 45 questions that were asked by both myself and Trustee Bottomley, and we just got answers today, this morning at 7 o'clock. I haven't had enough time to go back and review all that I had, of the questions I sent last Wednesday. And I'm also still concerned about the budget going in 2023 from the total 249.2 mil to now this current one of 322.3 million, which is a 73 million increase in the last 3 years. That's why I'd like to sit and study and have us work as a team to have a full assessment of what's going on with the budget. I had asked when we had the old board, that we needed to do this again to bring it so the new board would understand what's going on. I think with all the questions that came out, that it would dictate that. So I'm asking for that. Thank you.
Dr. Denwall?
Chairman Budzinski, thank you so much. Trustee Broderick, thank you for your comments there. What I'd like to do is just take a moment to recognize we have newer trustees. I'm going to tee up Karen and Dr. Farmer there to talk through the process, number one, and the potential consequences associated with postponement.
All right, thank you, Dr. Lemuel. VP Kissel?
Thank you for letting me get to that page. So just to go through the budget calendar, just to give you an understanding of how the process works here at JJC. I know some of you know, I've probably talked about it a couple times, so forgive me to just go through it again. But in December is really when the JJC community starts developing requests for their budget. And we come to you in January at the board retreat, or the board workshop, I'm sorry, January 29th, I think it was this year, to develop assumptions as we look at the budget going forward. We talk to you about the enrollment that we see. We talk to you about increasing costs that we see. We talk to you about union contracts that have already been board approved. We go over conceptually how the operating budget is pulled together, and that 78% of our operating budget is attributed to salaries, again, that are board approved, and to benefits. From that meeting, you give us direction to really begin digging into developing a draft budget plan, and that budget is then deployed across all of the department budget managers who develop their budgets, submit it to their cabinet members. Their cabinet members review it, prioritize it, bring it to cabinet, and that's where we have the courageous conversations. We cull through all of the requests for new positions. We talk about reallocations of existing funds to better support departments and needs of our students. We look at opportunities for expenditure cuts, for contract renegotiations, and then we bring to you in May a draft budget for discussion. We also do, during the year, talk to you about tuition increases. We ask for your approval for tuition and fees. We bring this all to Finance Committee for their endorsement and for their thought leadership as we move forward. And then we present the budget in May. We have to put it on display for 30 days, and we bring it to you in June for your approval. The operating budget between last year and this year has gone up 4.66%, and we request that you just consider the budget that we have put in front of you.
Thank you.
I do have one more.
Okay. It's your
Okay,
time.
then I ask, if you're going to approve the budget, then I ask that page 36 be removed, which is the Board of Trustees, each accounting thing, just leave it as a line item, because right now, each trustee would only get $4,350 for the year. The ICCTA rep, since it's designated only for the ICCTA rep delegate, would be $12,017 that they get. The student trustee would get $9,567. That's more than any of us trustees, and it should all be equally, because each of the assignments that we get of being able to go to ACCT and ICCTA are then taken away for us that aren't ICCTA people. We only get to go to national or whatever the 350 is for. We need to make it a line item because it's not fair. You're discriminating against all of us from having the ability to go, because I was 2 education credits short of an education, my 3rd education level, because you were 2 seminars away from earning your 3rd one because I couldn't go. And this is not fair to do to us because we were voted in, we were asked to do our duties, and we should be able to increase our education by fulfilling that. So I ask that this line item be lined, not with these things identified, because you're not being fair to all the trustees. Shows discrimination.
Chairman
I'd like to be
Brzezinski, if I may speak on the actual matter that's on the table of postponement.
We can't dig into the budget at this point. We're only discussing postponement. Yes, thank you. So,
Oh,
thank you.
I'd like to be recognized on postponement.
Trust-
We reviewed this budget, it was brought to us last month. These 40 some odd questions could have been brought up last month. Okay, it was brought to us, we've been discussing this since January. A draft budget was given to the board in May to be approved in June. So I will not support postponing it, thank you.
Trustee Garcia again.
No questions. I did see Trustee Bottomley with her hand raised.
Yes, she's.
Okay.
Can you reset Trustee Bottomley's time to 3 minutes?
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, whatever.
It's all in it's 6 seconds.
It's
I'll let you
fine.
go.
I walked into this meeting wanting to postpone this budget vote. I am new. We all know that. I don't know how much longer I can play that card, and I'm just going to keep saying that, I guess. This has been really challenging because I'm trying to figure out how much of this process I've missed, and the answer is like 90% of it. I am not thrilled about this timeline. I'm not thrilled about this process, and that's not a secret to pretty much everyone in this room at this point. I feel as though our process is flawed. I would like to fix it and address it for next year. I also recognize the people that were here on this board, that I'm the only new person, that you all were involved in this and engaged in this process leading up to this. Do I wish that I had more time to review the answers to all of my questions, to review all the answers to Trustee Broderick's questions, and relook at this budget with that context in mind? Yes. I also recognize that our fiscal year is ending. If I could go back and do things a little bit differently, I would. That's not an option. I'm torn because I think that there's an opportunity for us to all come together as a board to come to a cohesive budget. I don't think that that's possible today, but I don't know if that's necessarily just an individual reason to postpone this. When I look at our draft budget, there isn't an individual thing that I can look at that I have a problem with, that I have an issue with. It's just that I'd like more time. And because of that and that alone, I don't know if I can actually sit here and support postponement. Thank you.
Trustee Bishop.
Really quickly, I'd like to touch back on the legislative update I attended this morning, where Senator Capel had touched on their budget and how difficult it can be to pass a budget that is nonpartisan. Because let's be honest, we all have items that we want a little more context on. But regardless, we do need to pass a budget. For that, I don't think postponement would benefit the students.
Trustee Harris.
well, I think that we have an obligation to move forward with the budget. We have had it 30 days. And I think that even though there may be some questions that we want answered, being familiar with the budget, we can address that at a later date. We have a balanced budget. We're not raising our tuition. Those are the goals and the values that we have been focusing on. And I think with moving forward, and not postponing will serve our purpose and our missions and our goals for the students and for the college. So I do not support the postponement.
Trustee Lee?
If we're not going to support the postponement, then I think we do need to come to an agreement to support a meeting to come together to talk about this process as Bottomley has suggested so that we can look at the timeline, look at the process. And I think that this is a big deal, and I think that a good practice may be for there to be a meeting specifically dedicated to the budget and not just, oh, here's the budget to look at for 30 days, but maybe, here, let's have a meeting halfway through those 30 days so that we can all talk about this and get our questions out. Think if we have any more questions. This is a big deal and a lot to look at. And, I think all of our questions do need to be answered. This is our fiduciary duty. This is one of the biggest deals that we do is approving this budget. For a lot of newer trustees, even myself included, because I'm new to being on a board. This is only my, 4th year. So only going over the budget would only benefit all of us and all of the trustees to really learn and get into it. So if we're not going to postpone this, then can we at least agree to have a meeting to talk about fixing the process?
I think that's something, it sounds like there's a consensus. Can we have a consensus to push it to the policy committee for next year? Okay.
I would prefer that to go through finance.
Yeah. Go through the finance committee?
Finance, yeah.
Okay. Well, we need a policy that dictates the fact that we're going to have meetings. Then we can have the
Right.
finance meeting involved, but obviously, the finance people would be in the meeting, because we cannot discuss the budget in closed session, so we just need to have a policy that says that we are going to meet in between the May and June vote.
Can I share something?
Yes.
Just so you know, some of the schools are doing it where, I should say a lot of them are doing it. The president starts communicating right away with the trustees to find out as soon as they get the initial handbook. Then after that, they call a committee of a whole to see what's going on. So the committee of a whole, within the 15 days of receipt, are able to sit down and everyone talks about it and gets their feelings out. Then 2 days before the meeting, when the actual hard copy book comes out, that's when the president asks, is there anything else that I should be concerned about? So there is a true passage of that, so it doesn't stumble through all these questions a week before that we're trying to figure out. I would recommend that. And the only reason I asked for, we do, as it was trained to us, section 3.20.1 of the Public Community College Act and the Illinois State law says the budget can be adopted within or before the first quarter of the fiscal year. That's why I asked for it, because we are within our rights to ask for a postponement and do it in July and meet. So that's why I asked for it, nothing other.
Are we ready to vote on the postponement?
May I say two things? First, what you're going to be voting on is a motion to postpone to July 26th. July 26th is a Saturday. Secondly, the same portion of the act that talks about passing the budget also provides that the budget can be amended from time to time at a regular meeting of the board, so long as the notice of the amendment is provided pursuant to the Open Meetings Act. So if you do have a problem with the budget, you pass it today, you can come back and amend it at the very next regular meeting. Just put it on our agenda like we would anything else. Thank you.
But it's getting on the agenda, though.
So the vote is whether or not to postpone.
Correct.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.
We do. Trustee Broderick?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
No.
Trustee Garcia again?
No.
Trustee Harris?
No.
Trustee Morales?
Absolutely not.
Trustee Bishop?
No.
Trustee Buzinski?
No.
Motion fails.
So we're back to 3.9.3. The president requests approval of the administrative recommendation for the fiscal year 2026 budget.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion, or can we vote on it?
So I'm going to go with the clock names again. Trustee Harris, comments?
Yes. Are we able to say that we want to address Trustee Broderick's concern about the trustees' budget to when we approve this, are we able to say that we want to schedule a meeting to discuss that along with an amendment or along with any other
So right now,
changes?
we're not building an agenda, we're voting on the budget.
Okay,
What our attorney just advised us of, any one of these line items can be readdressed at a
after,
future, yes,
okay, okay.
if that helps.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Trustee Lee?
No.
Trustee Broderick?
I'm still concerned about the increase in the total budget over the last 3 years of 73.10 million, with it going from 307.9 last year to 322.3 this year, and the severe increases of 5.5 and 5.5 in 2024, 5.18 in 2025, and 4.66 now. It just concerns me because when I went back to the history and gave you the comparison, in 2014, it was 247 million. In 2023, it was 249. That does concern me, high-level concern. And I think we need to exercise fiscal conservativeness and fiscal responsibility because that is our main, besides assessing and hiring a president, our main thing is to do the budget, which I got censured on. I do
Point of
pay
order.
attention to the budget. That's it.
Trustee Morales?
Yes, we are fiscally responsible as trustees, and we have to pay attention and notice too that property values have gone up. I'm surprised that this hasn't been brought up by the previous trustee that was making comments. But we have to trust that our president, and we do support him, that he's making the best decision. We're not increasing taxes, we're not raising tuition. Inflation has caused the cost of everything to go up. And so that's why it looks like it's inflated. And yes, it's scary, but every single trustee, I believe, has the best interest of the students, the college, and the taxpayer, not just one trustee. We all do. And so I just wanted to, and then also, like Karen Kissel mentioned, we talked about in January about this budget, okay? And then it came to us in May to review it, okay, and start asking questions. For us to come at the 11th hour and ask to postpone it is not. We should be prepared and ask our questions in advance. So I'm ready to move forward. Thank you.
Trustee Garcia again.
The budget, the way that we have it, outlines some of the key priorities. And again, most of the operational budget goes back to staffing, paying our team, and also benefits. So all of the information that we have here, and again, the book that we have breaks it down into different components to make it manageable for us. Again, it is a lot of information at the same time. So going back to modifying the timeline for future reference, I fully support that idea. We can go ahead and workshop that in greater detail, but I do support the budget the way that we have it, and I'll be voting yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
I think I just really want to take a moment to highlight some of the questions that I had and the things that really stick out to me. I know how challenging it is to take requests across every department and put it into a budget. So thank you. I know that this isn't something that happens in one day, doesn't happen in a week, doesn't happen in a month, and it's hard. I think that what I really want to reflect on and what ultimately leads me to a yes on this budget is how much of it is salaries and benefits. And a lot of those are already set costs, right? We have an awareness of what those are going to be. I really want to highlight that a total of 69 new positions were initially requested for this budget. Through the leadership of staff, they were able to narrow that down to 17 new positions that would strategically help enhance operations here. That's huge, right? Because we all know that there's needs that exist. So taking a look and cutting that down to ensure that we're doing the best that we can, that's critical, it's hard, and it's impressive. So thank you. As I continue to look through the rest of my, you can't cut me off yet.
Sorry.
As I continue to look through the rest of this, the other big budgeting tool that I see that I really appreciate is that we're looking at our salaries vacancy offset. That's a huge budgeting tool that really helps allow us to capture savings when we have positions that are open or that take a little bit of time to fill. It means that we're not going to have to pass as high of a budget. I know that from the conversations I've had, that's something that we haven't done for a while, so I'm very happy to see that come back. I think that's critical. I look forward to how we can continue to hone in that number and help realize a better budget moving forward into the next year. I'm now going to be a little wishful. As we look to the future, after we pass this budget, my hope, and I'm going to try to manifest this, is that when we sit in this room next year to pass our next fiscal budget, that we're able to vote on it because all of our questions have been answered, and we're able to just vote. Thank you.
Trustee Bishop.
No comment.
Okay. Trustee Harris.
One more comment.
Oh, hold on one second.
Go ahead, Trustee Harris.
Trustee Harris.
That's fine.
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate all the work that's been done, and I know that inflation, and I think it has been said more than once, I know that inflation is running rampant on everything, every business, and every organization. And if our college is going to continue to provide value and bring value to our communities and to our students in terms of their education, I think we must move forward. And I think I said that before, because moving forward with this is moving forward with our goals and our missions. So I fully support this tonight.
Thank you. Trustee Lee, do you have anything to add? No. Trustee Broderick, any rebuttal?
I'm just concerned that we did have the opportunity to ask questions. Karen, thank you, because I'm sure you were behind it. Thank you so much. But I would have liked more time to review the answers, because I did ask over a week ago for them. But I understand that we had time issues as far as the Juneteenth and the Friday off.
Are we ready to vote?
I'd like to mention one more thing.
Yes.
Okay. I brought this up before to the president, and I think in an email, I think I've copied the chairman, and also that regarding the budget, there are ways that other creative ways that we can draw in more revenue, and that's through grants. Currently, there is an EOC grant that I believe the portal is open to, that we are looking into it. I don't know if we've actually, are we going to pursue it? I would like for us to really consider pursuing that. And any other way that we can increase revenue through grants, I think is the best way that we can, continue to move forward without having to, raise tuition or raise taxes or what have you. But just to keep in mind that the grants is an excellent way. It's time consuming. And I know we have a great team of grant folks at the college, but let's please take a look at that EOC grant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now are we ready to vote?
Yes.
Karen, we're ready?
Trustee Garcia Guillen?
Yes.
Trustee Morales?
Yes.
Trustee Bottomley?
Yes.
Trustee Broderick?
No.
Trustee Harris?
Yes.
Trustee Lee?
Abstain.
Trustee Bishop?
Yes.
Trustee Pazinski?
Yes.
Motion carries.
New business, old business. Item 4.1.1, which is
No.
policy 02.01.20, pay for performance for eligible non-union exempt and non-exempt employees.
Yes. So I'll take a step back before we jump into that one. These are three policies that are in front of you for first reading. You all will vote on this the next meeting that we have as they go into second reading. The first one is 4.1.1, that is the actual number on your book is going to be 02.01.20 is the pay for performance for eligible non-union exempt and non-exempt employees. For this particular policy, we're cleaning the language as well as adding new information about what happens if an employee is hired after the annual performance and as well as removing the language around the institutional performance reward. At this time, I'll go ahead and open it up if you all have any questions. Trustee Broderick?
I do. Why are we eliminating in the last institutional performance reward all of that? What's the requirement and why was it done?
Good question. I can go ahead and pass it over to Judy. I was looking for the right person. There we go. We'll pass it over to Judy to provide some context to be able to answer your question. Trustee Broderick.
Thank you.
Thank you. This policy was new in 2021, and it came out of a performance management task team that was trying to come up with some innovative ideas and kind of mitigate the impact we were feeling from COVID. And the first part of this policy, the individual merit structure, has been very well received by employees. They appreciate the opportunity to have a different opportunity to have a variance in their salary based on their performance. The second piece that was included as a recommendation for the committee and ultimately approved here was this institutional performance reward, which conceptually is an innovative, wonderful idea, but it has not materialized in the way that we intended. And rather than keep it in this policy, at this point, we recommend just striking the language. It might be something that we revisit in the future, but it would be an opportunity where we'd set some institutional metrics, and then everyone that's eligible would receive some monetary payment if we met those institutional objectives.
So who's the one that does the metrics then over? Because you had the president before will determine the metrics target annually. Who does that? Their manager then?
We haven't done this. I think the initial year, there was a metric for community service, for, and that would have been under the previous president, for enrollment increase and a couple of things. And the college did not meet those, and no money was distributed under this individual or institutional performance record reward. So at this time, the recommendation as the leadership team and president's leadership group was reviewing it, they said at this time, let's table this language or move this language out and revisit it in a maybe more structured and creative way with the support to be able to administer it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Any additional questions on this particular policy? No? Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. It's going to be 4.1.2 and 02.04.18, and that is the retiree benefits, event passes, and tuition waiver and fitness center. For this particular policy, it was last revised on April 2019, and we added some language around the definition of who qualifies as a retiree, as well as additional language about some of the additional benefits associated with the fitness center. Any questions for this particular policy? Nope. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to the last one. It's going to be 4.1.3, 03.2100, the hazing prevention. This is a new policy, and it outlines some of the key information, and it is connected to our values at JJC in order to make sure that we're preventing hazing incidents. It provides the definition of hazing as well as additional information of what to do if there is an incident, the reporting process, and also what happens after in terms of investigating any violations, and just making sure that we are keeping our students safe, and is connected to the students' code of conduct and club disciplinary process. At this time, I'll go ahead and open it up for any questions on this particular policy. Again, this is first reading for this particular new policy. Questions?
I don't have a question, but I think it's, I congratulate you for having that. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's all. I'll go ahead and go.
Yeah, I just applaud you guys for doing this. Even if we don't know of hazing existing on campus, this helps us if it does happen. We have control over the situation. Thank you.
Correct. Okay, thank you all.
Moving on to 5.1, representative to the ICCTA, ACCT, Trustee Harris, please.
Let me get this. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay. The ICCTA met in Bloomington on June 6th and the 7th. And let's see. Press the middle button. Okay, all right. Okay. And it was a full day of trustee professional development training. Yeah, so we're behind. Okay, let's move on. Okay. And then the awards banquet. And as you know, the elected and appointed trustees all over the state have to satisfy the Public Act 99-0692, as it requires that every voting board member elected or appointed after January 1st, 2017 shall complete a minimum of 4 hours of professional development leadership training. So this particular training is what we did, and it meets the mandate required by the state for the trustees who attended. And some of the things we discussed, I think Trustee Brenton mentioned it. One of the other trustees, we did talk about our fiduciary responsibilities of a college trustee, and we've talked about that many times. We know our basic responsibilities as a unified board, but this particular role stood out to me, and it internalized our responsibility, the duty of care. Exercise independent judgment, a normal, prudent person with reasonable care, skill, and caution. They broke it down into simple terms, real simple terms, the duty of care, caring about the decisions we make that will advance the college's mission. And then we also talked about the FOIA, of course, and I think that was mentioned in here a little earlier, a public body of records. They caution how this can be used against us as elected officials, and we must always be mindful of that. It was a lot of review, but it was needed in order for the trustees to be compliant. So we also talked about rolling back that particular law of 2020 and made it clear that we should know who to contact if we need to report any kind of sexual violence on campus. And I believe our person, Title 9 coordinator, is Kara Anderson, right? Okay, all righty. Now, for our ICCTA awards banquet, this was on the evening of June 6th. We had the business, and I think Dr. Namuel mentioned that earlier. We had our business industry partnership, Constellation Energy, Jackie, who came late, and I grabbed a selfie with her so she would be in our report. But we also had the Outstanding Adjunct Faculty Award for Joliet Junior College, and that was Javier from the Culinary Department. And we thank you for submitting your requests for awards. And then also, if I might add, I received my first Trustee Education Award at Joliet Junior College. And you must attend 15 or more seminars that are offered by ICCTA. So I received it, and that's the award, and that's the list. It's kind of small, but where you see the purple arrows, that's my name representing Joliet Junior College. Okay, now we have our federal update for fiscal year 26 and the impact of community colleges. Okay, so the Pell to stay the same as fiscal year 24 levels. By level funding the fiscal year 24 appropriations, the request would set a maximum award of $5,710 for award year 2026-27. A decrease of $1,685 over the 2024-25 award year. The maximum award will continue to cover the average public in-state tuition and fees for community college students. The president is committed to fulfilling his promise to preserve the Pell Grant program. However, the growing funding shortfall created by past congressional decisions made it necessary to decrease the maximum award. Eliminating the TRIO program, the proposed budget aims to eliminate all funding for TRIO programs which support low-income first-generation college students through services like tutoring and mentoring. This cut amounts to nearly $1 billion with a B. Reduction in federal work study. The budget proposed a cut of $980 million from the federal work study program, halving its funding. This reduction would shift the responsibility for funding student employment to states and institutions, significantly limiting the availability of paid job opportunities for students with financial needs. Okay. The cuts to diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI initiatives, that administration has directed federal agencies to reduce DEI-related grants, resulting in a total savings of $2.3 billion with a B. Specifically, the Department of Education will see nearly $800 million in savings from these cuts. Excuse me. Okay. The Department of Education restructuring. An executive order has been signed to facilitate the closure of the Department of Education, transferring responsibilities like student loan and special needs program to other agencies. This move could disrupt the administration of financial aid and civil rights protection, as well as concerns about the continuation and effectiveness of federal support for education. The administration's rationale is to shift responsibility for these programs to the states and reassign some federal education functions to other agencies. So here's some key dates to monitor. On Monday, July 21st, the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Labor, Health, and Human Service, Education, and Related Agencies will mark up the fiscal year 2026 bill. And on Thursday, July 24th, 2025, the full Appropriations Committee will mark up the same legislation. So we'll assess the language in the bill in July when we receive it. At that time, we will determine exact impacts. Until then, we do have an advocacy plan in place to meet with our members and share these concerns. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Harris, I'm sorry. I think you have one more piece of news to share with the college community, do you not?
That's all I have. Yes, but that's during trustee update.
Oh, okay. Okay. Forgive me. I
You
didn't
want me to do
wanna-
it now? I can do
No,
it now
you
and then
wanna
I'll
do
be
it now? I
done.
mean, we could leave people on the edge of their seats.
I like the suspense.
Yeah, let's leave them on
We'll
the
wait.
seat
Okay,
for
we'll wait
trustee
for trustee
comment.
updates. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, well
yeah.
then just to keep them on their seat longer, we'll start over here with trustee Michelle Lee for trustee comments.
Okay.
And work this way.
No comment.
Okay. Trustee Garcia again.
I do have comments. First, thank you all for being here in this meeting. I believe that we're all going to get out early today, so that's something to celebrate.
Yes, it is.
I have several things that I do want to mention. First, thank you all for being here again. Right now, a lot of our students are enrolled in summer classes or are already planning their fall schedule. Again, super excited for our students who are in summer school and also for our students who are planning their classes for the fall. I do want to acknowledge some things that are happening at the federal level. Trustee Harris, you made reference to them, so I'll go ahead and add some context to some information. But we have been seeing a lot of things in the news that impact our students and our greater community that are important to highlight. So I'll focus on three main ones, and I'll make sure that I stay in my allotted time. We have seen several things happening under this current administration. One of them is that we have seen a lot of reports of a lot of our friends, neighbors in the community that are being kidnapped by Immigration Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE, and other federal agents that are clear violations of human rights. We have also seen a lot of news around ongoing conflict and the role of the United States in bombing Iran. We have also seen threats to education. One example is elimination of the TRIO program and other similar programs that emphasize the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as just basic rights for the members of our community. With all of that being said, that's a lot of things that our students are facing and a lot of different things that are coming and impacting them, their family, their loved ones. And again, I only mentioned three different things. In reality, there's so many other things and there's an overlap of many factors and many community members that are marginalized or underrepresented that might fall in one of the particular categories that I mentioned. But there's real threats to just basic human rights. With that being said, I am proud to be part of a board of a higher education institution that has the opportunity and responsibility to be courageous, innovative, and forward-thinking. We continue our commitment to support our students in the classroom and outside the classroom here at JJC. And the last thing that I'll say before my time is up is we cannot ignore the very real threats that our students and community are collectively facing from the federal government. And there's clear things that we are doing together to make sure that we're able to provide support to our students. That's it. Thank you.
Trustee Morales?
Thank you. I'd like to just echo everything that Trustee Garcia said. She said it so eloquently, and yes, our students are facing many, many different stressors, especially the Latino students from south of the border with all of these racist policies that we're seeing from our federal administration, especially in removing our TRIO grants that affect the most marginalized. It's usually affecting the Black and Brown communities. So we need to continue to support our students as best as we can. I also want to just mention that the ICCTA meeting that happened June 6th to 7th, I was actually able to save money on my line item budget as a trustee because I attended my educational training online. So that is an option. How we're able to work within our budget is if you do certain trainings, you can do them online. I did 4 hours of training and it was all done online, so it didn't cost the college any money, therefore saving, so that I can go to the national conference when that does arise, because I know what my budget is and I've been on this board long enough, so I know when I can where I need to prioritize my budget. It's all about priority. We don't have to go to every single event. It's not mandated that we have to go there. Okay, so I just want to put that out there. Thank you. I yield my time.
Trustee Bottomley?
I am so grateful to be giving trustee remarks ahead of 9 p.m. So I'm going to start with that. My full real comments are, it was great to walk into this building today and see the flags sitting outside. We had a public comment that talked about the importance of what that means. So I will say, happy Pride Month. I will say happy belated Juneteenth. I had the honor of attending a local event put on by the Lockport Township Park District. That was a beautiful Juneteenth celebration. I believe this is the second or third year. If you have time next year, I'd encourage you to go check it out because it is a really cool time. It was great. It was a beautiful coming together of the community. I want to say thank you to everyone up here and Trustee Morales, who is virtual. Thank you for coming together. Thank you for talking and being respectful. We don't all have to agree every single day. We don't have to all vote the same, but we have to respect the outcomes of our votes. And I believe that's what we're going to be doing moving forward. So thank you. I look forward to more of this in the future. And my last thing is a little bit of a JJC Foundation thing. I am already registered for the JJC Foundation 5K that will be taking place on October 5th. This is my official call to everyone else to come out. She did. Christy came up to me and I was like, I signed up, so did like everyone in my family. So the Bottomleys will be there in force. There was not a bulk discount. I believe my parents even donated additional funds. I love this 5K for so many different reasons. I run a lot of races. This is truly a prime example of a great community-based 5K. If you have not done it, I would encourage you to. You can come out and cheer or run or walk it. I would love to see you guys there. You guys will all be able to see how absolutely sweaty I get when I run. So that would really be a treat for all of you. Thank you.
Trustee Broderick.
Can you pass on me and go to Trustee Harris and then come back? I went with the last.
No, I want to do it in order.
Did I get to anything? Okay. All right. One, I wanted to make certain that everybody understood the good standing trustee issue. I had talked to ICCTA Jim Reed and the ICCB, and the comment federal is if a trustee is reelected, the censure does not remain in effect for the new term. Censure, while a formal expression of disapproval, does not carry any penalty beyond that of being formally criticized. It doesn't remove a trustee from office or deny them their rights and privileges. So that taken into consideration, I should be in a good standing trustee position because all of the stuff that you guys went out to try not to get me reelected, I did get reelected and the people saw through it. So I'm going to say that I am now a good standing trustee according to the regulations that ICCTA and ICCB said. Also, I want to make sure that you guys know that I was at attendance at the City of Morris State of the City. I went as a member of JJC. I know that Dr. Namuo's email said I went with another group. No, I went with JJC on my shirt, paid $30 for my ticket because I didn't get a response back from Dr. Namuo about going to that or to the eye opener for tomorrow, which I'm going to too. And it disappoints me that we had 9 seats covered with 1 open, and I wasn't invited in to sit in that table. It bothers me, and the public keeps asking what's going on. I'm just saying that. The other thing is we need to get the difference of ICCTA rep versus trustees. All of the trustees are the same. The ICCTA rep, the only thing that person has to do is vote at the national conference, which is the ACCT one. Everything else, all the other ones, ICCTA and the National Legislative Summit, those are all for all the trustees. We're trying to build up attendance. That's the big thing. So that's why I said we have to look at that budget. Because when you look at the budget, and I did, we've had a 48.6% increase from 2025 on the expenses. And I mean, I'll say this, Trustee Morales, 6678, Harris, 11,403. Nancy, you were good. You were under the budget that you were supposed to be. Student trustee was 6,441. Myself, I was at 2,800. Jim and Michelle, you were all under the budget too. So where did the expense go? It went to certain trustees and more so to the student trustee, which I don't understand because we are elected and we need to do things for education purposes. And yes, I had already received 2 education awards. I was short this one because of the fact that I did not have 2 more educational seminars. So my name would have been on that list with the 3rd that I had won. So that is a concern that I have. And also questioning the student trustee for the ICC with the ICCB, I'm requesting again, as I did a year ago, to ask you and the president or the chair to go back and ask the ICCB for a ruling on 110 ILCS, which is the reimbursement for trustees.
Trustee Harris, we've all been waiting.
Yes, surprise, surprise. As the board trustee representative for the J.D. Ross Extraordinary Service Award Committee, I'm pleased to announce that Larry Weirs will receive this year's J.D. Ross Extraordinary Service Award. So please join me in congratulating Mr. Weirs. Larry has lived his life in service working for Troy School District from 1974 through 2007. Larry has been a volunteer for many community organizations, including but not limited to Greater Joliet YMCA, Guardian Angel Community Services, Senior Services of Will County, Meals on Wheels, United Way of Will County, Plainfield Lions Club, and numerous community education committees. Larry will be recognized with a distinguished honor at the Night of Stars celebration on Tuesday, September 9th. We hope that all of you will attend. And another update for trustee update. This morning, I also attended the legislative breakfast, and we're glad to know that, again, all of the legislators are fully on board with the baccalaureate program. So we look forward to that moving forward. And Trustee Bottomley, I also would like to let everyone know that I will be in the golf outing, the JJC golf outing. As a matter of fact, one of our my new friend, Robin Randall, who is with the Leggett Architects. So she invited me to be on her team, and we do need 2 others. So if anyone's interested in golfing with us, please let me know, and I'll get that information to her. And that concludes. I yield back.
Trustee Bishop.
Oh my gosh.
Turn your microphone.
Oh, thank you. It's not even 9. Like, we're getting close, but I'm not going to hold us. I recognize that over the past 2 months, I've learned a lot about the budgetary process, fiduciary responsibilities, and the general operations of a community college board. Really quick, I want to thank all of my fellow trustees for providing mentorship, feedback where necessary, and I'd also like to thank the Finance Committee for all of the hard work that went into the budgeting process, and for also working to catch Trustee Bottomley and I up to speed. I will echo the sentiment of my other trustees that I do think some restructuring may be in order for future generations of trustees, but I'd just like to say thank you, and hopefully we can adjourn by 9. That's going to conclude my update.
Excuse me, Jim, I did think of something. if
Yes.
I could. So I just wanted to make a comment to the online training that we received, the mandatory online training. I have been to the in-person trainings. This was the first time that I actually had to experience the online training due to a death in the family. And there were complete differences and disadvantages, and I just want to state that. So by forcing us to use our budget to go to the in-training person where you actually get to ask questions and interact with others and hear their questions on the online, you do not see anybody else besides the presenters. Asking questions is limited to typing in a comment box. There is no talking in this whole situation, and it is extremely limited on that training. I honestly really wish that I could have made it, and I would have blown my budget on that training this year because I feel like it's that important. The other thing that I wanted to say is that it does put all of us trustees as a disadvantage. As Trustee Harris had mentioned that she received an award for attending these trainings, as well as education certificates and things like that. So by not allowing us and forcing the budget to the point where we can only pick and choose, these were, when I originally first started on here with Dr. Judy Mitchell, open to everyone. And until you did not like how Maureen represented the college, it was open for everyone. And this has been a tactic to, in my opinion, isolate her. And then now myself and now the rest of the trustees to where we're not able. I have learned so much going to these ICCTA meetings and ACCT, and I would as well like the opportunity to attend every single one, regardless if we are the delegate that votes. They're great learning opportunities. This board is a lot. Learning everything that comes in to run a college, every single person here has an education that they go to years for each specific thing in this budget book. like they said, it goes through so many, so for you to understand what we as trustees need to learn, it is a disservice to stop us from going to these trainings, to you and to the public and to everyone.
Can I
Thank you.
say something?
During, we don't have comments on, or
Oh,
feedback on
okay.
trustee comments, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We're not going to make it.
Oh.
The chair report. I want to applaud the board for tonight and getting through this. I know there was a lot of phone calls back and forth with a lot of people. I can tell you, though, fielding calls from different people, a lot of the questions that were asked online were questions other people had. So I just want you to be aware that a lot of those questions were in a lot of our minds. And, you know, I had the, well, I'm so glad that so-and-so asked that. So when you're providing feedback to those, we're all getting it, and we, you know, we thank you for getting it back to us. It did answer a lot of questions for us. I applaud the finance, you know, group for putting this together for us to, you know, have a budget that we could actually sit and, you know, vote on that is responsible. That's only a 4-point-something% increase year over year. And then I acknowledge a request by everyone in this room. Like Trustee Bishop said, we, you know, we need to just have a slightly different process. So yesterday and today doesn't happen. We don't put that last minute stress on the staff. You know, again, a lot of questions, taking into account whether or not we have a new person on the board. Not that it's unfair, it's the way we've always done it, but we're just asking it can be done better. So I'm hoping that the policy committee can put something together to take back to the finance committee or the finance group on how to, you know, get us through this next year. Because there will be a next year, and it will look brighter. So it's 8:59 on my phone, so I'm gonna, at this point, call for a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Karen, take your time. You don't have to do this right away.
Oh, we just hit 9.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. We're adjourned at 9 o'clock.